Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Schaeffer's Turbo Series from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. For Race First, I'm Matt Houston, joined by Gary Godso in the booth tonight. Hey Gary, how you doing?
Hey, doing great. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Always good to have you. So here in the Schaeffer's Turbo Series, this is kind of the introductory series in the Reddit IndyCar League. It's for drivers looking for a more casual experience and shorter races before moving up to the big cars, the Schaeffer's Cup. Last week's winner, Robert Hodel, he's kind of surviving in the back. Currently, we're in qualifying with about 4 minutes to go. He's in 11th. We're going to be keeping an eye on him, but we got some other fast cars out here tonight.
Yeah, I was actually, for most of these guys, I was racing with them last week. I kind of dipped my my toe in the pool, so to speak. A lot of these guys are pretty good. Some of these guys are still learning. Some of them need to hold a lane when they need to on a drafting track. But anyways, looking at these times, I mean, there is a bit of a deficit when you're looking at maybe the first 3 positions, but mid-pack, they're all right on one top of another. So we should see a pretty entertaining race mid-pack, and hopefully it's just not one of those where you got the top 2 leaders kind of break away and separate themselves.
Yeah, we've got the top 4 cars within about a second of one another, and then a larger gap. But again, this series is for the drivers that is kind of learning the rope. We're trying to do kind of the road to Indy here in the r/IndyCar series, and this is the Schaeffer Turbo series for all of that. So Andrew Spates is kind of set the provisional pole here, 1 minute 33.005. We'll see if he keeps this up through the rest of the races this season, with Robert Hodel, our championship leader, languishing back in 11th.
133.005 is roughly about the same time that the current track record for a Daytona prototype. The current track record for a Daytona prototype is currently held by Scott Pruitt, who did a 132.620 in 2010. So these guys, for little cars, we call them the little cars, but for little cars, they are certainly moving, because we know how big those Daytona prototypes are and how much power they have.
Yeah, I almost completely forgot about that. The Grand Am, or it might have been Tudor United Sports Car by then, that they came up here for a year or two in the early 2010s. I was looking back that Kart Champ Car had come here, and the Atlantic Series also came here quite a bit in the past as well.
The last Champ Car race here, I believe, is 2002. At least the current Champ Car track record was set in 2002, and that's Franchitti set that with a 120.238 in 2002. Back in the old days when they had Lolas.
That's right. Actually, they did keep running those cars, though. Well, not the kart. When kart became Champ Car, and then they moved over to the Lola, and then they did actually. So they did run Champ Car until 2006 here, and I'm showing Bourdais as the winner of that race in 2006, but I'm almost thinking that Allmendinger might have won that, or maybe he led a bunch of laps, because I remember watching that one. It was when Allmendinger was still in Champ Car, and he went on a hot streak when he came to Forsyth Racing, and I don't recall, I mean, I wrote this down that Bourdais won, but I remember Allmendinger being strong back then.
With the power of the internet, we're able to pull that up real quick, and let's see, the qualifying results had Bourdais with the pole on a 120.005, followed by Allmendinger racing for Forsyth with a 120.361. Justin Wilson, actually, rest in peace, was starting 3rd that race. And it was Bourdais, Tracy, and Nelson Philippe as the top 3 in that particular race.
So there you go. I just remembered Allmendinger was really strong there at that point in time. Anyway, we're about 20 seconds left in qualifying, but we're going to have anybody that's on a hot lap is going to be able to complete that lap. So we probably have another couple minutes before that actually is completely there. But I can see Andrew Spates has pulled it in, and that's the lap he's going to stick with. That's a strong lap, unless Cothern's pulled it in. Watson's still out there.
The opposite of kind of ovals with road courses, the more rubber that's laid down, the faster they tend to get. So these last laps, if it was on an oval, you want to take your couple laps at the front end of your run and be done with it. You do your 2 laps, do your 3 laps, whatever. But for a road course, your last lap, more than likely, you're going to be your fastest one, because your car is lighter, your tires are the warmest, and there's the most rubber down on the ground.
That's right, and in addition to this fixed setup that they're going to be running is going to have full fuel at the beginning of the session, and they're just going to be running down that fuel as the session goes on. So let's take a quick commercial break for our Schaeffer's Cup here, and we'll be right back, ready for the race after that.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back after our commercial break here. I think all of our cars have stopped on the track, so we're just waiting for that timer to come down, and we will be racing here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Oops, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there for a moment. My window decided to not display and showed my background. We're really professional here.
Yeah, the course is very similar. That it's on a man-made island, very similar to Detroit, insofar that they're both on man-made islands. The courses can't be any more different after that, but they are definitely insofar that they're both on man-made islands.
Yeah, I would say that Belle Isle there in Detroit a little bit bumpier than Montreal here. I don't know how they maintain this track so well though, with the harsh Canadian winters that they would have.
That's a real good question. Probably worth some researching, because there are portions of that Detroit track that have regular kind of semi-regular traffic on them. This is pretty much a dedicated course for auto racing. They don't really have much way in the pedestrian traffic or civilian traffic on it. So what do they do? I don't know. Maybe they got some good engineering that they got it to expand and shrink in the wintertime. I don't know, but it's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to Detroit is just it's really bumpy. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite IndyCar courses, but I know the big complaint and the drivers. Well, we had 1 year, I want to say the first year that IndyCar returned to this track, that they had the track disintegrate a little bit and had to stop the race about halfway through. And I want to say Hinchcliffe won that race. And then the next year they did repaving, and they also extended it a little bit, the course.
Oh yeah, I remember they were tearing up chunks of asphalt,
Yeah.
not just holes, but chunks.
All right, well, let's go through the grid here. We've got, I think everybody's gridded up at this point. And we do have the pace car. We're not doing a standing start or anything like that, so I'll run through the grid here. All right, so we have Andrew Spates on the pole from Club Illinois at a 1 minute 33.005, followed by Chris Cothern in P2. Heading on to row 2, we have James Watson and Christian Jasper in P4. Christopher Kresge, our admin here in the league, followed by Jason Owens in P6. Moving on to row 4, Simon Fell in a 1 minute, well, he's 1.77 back from the pole sitter. Dylan Hearn in 8th. Adam Davis in 9th. Tony Patty, another one of our mins here in P10. Robert Hodel, our winner from last week, in P11. And Jeff Destino, he did not set a lap, but he should be starting the race, and we are green for this race here. Well, that was a quick green there, Gary.
Yeah, they know.
Short.
Oh, and Kresge, he collected he spun out in the back there, and coming out of turn, I believe it was 2, and he collected another car with him.
Well, we had cars 3 wide going, and I see another car spinning out there. We'll see if we can get a replay at some point, but I want to keep our eyes on the leaders here. Cothern took the lead over Spates, though. Oh, and Cothern is into the tire barrier. And we have another car spinning. I think that's Robert Hodel.
Well, just
that
not
was
a good start.
wild start to this race. With James Watson taking the lead here. He's going to lead lap 1. We have another car.
Another car spinning off in the back there. That begs the question. I know today, and you and I were talking about it kind of in the pre-race. There was an iRacing update, and we know that what the IndyCars got. It's like Christmas morning for us IndyCar fans. But were there any updates or anything to the PM18 that would be causing like that, or are we just thinking maybe a little impatient, cold tires, and then just swapping the back end?
Yeah, I think it's just impatience and cold tires. There were some updates, but I'm not, I don't think that there were anything too big on this car.
So Watson with that Lionel livery. I don't know if that's the Toy Train Company. I mean, who doesn't love Toy Train, really?
Takes the lead into turn 1.
There you go. That's a good pass.
Jasper goes wide through turn 1. Really good battle here. Spade's taking the lead. I see Jason Owens moving up into the 4th position, so he's up a couple spots. Patience is a virtue, and I know Jason last week, he kind of hung around in the back for most of that race just for something to develop. A little bit what you did, Gary, in that race.
It's a sound strategy. He's a smart man.
Well, I'm going to try to see, I don't want to, I was about to cut away for replay, but we've got Christian Jasper making a move on James Watson.
A little bit of a kick. Oh, and he overshoots. And Watson gets that position back, and he's probably going to fall into the grasp of Owens there.
That's right. So Owens going to take over that 3rd position. A 444 car taking the lead.
We have a couple of the 90s, mid-90s, early 2000s era Chip Ganassi looking Indy cars out there, PM18s.
The Target Lightning Bolt, it appears to be, yes. So unfortunately, I'm seeing that we have, at least my display right now is showing that we've got, well, I don't know about this. Okay, so it's saying that, it said for a moment that Hodel was out, but he's still in for me. Yeah.
You see, and Spates just turned purple at 134, so we're still early, but that's a fast lap. Guys behind him are getting up to speed. We have 2 green laps and second and 4th, so they're just moving right along. We have Kresge. He's actually making a pit. Davis is making a pit stop right now, and Fell and Cothern are currently been in the pits for extended stays at the moment.
So Christian Jasper just got back around Jason Owens there. So I see I went on board with Owens here. Locks up that left front just a little bit. As we have Andrew Spates taking the lead. I'm going to try to see if I can go back to that start and see if we can figure out what might have happened there. Kresge, I know, was one of the cars that had an issue. Simon Fell. Yeah, I'm just looking through the incidents here, some of them back into... Here we go. Oh, so Kresge had a car looping in front of him, and then there was Robert Hodel was also in front of him. But I'm looking for something to develop possibly with Kresge since he had that pit.
Spates purple again. Watson, Jasper, and Owens with green laps that time by, so everyone is starting to get into a rhythm, picking up their fast times here. And this is with full tanks and new tires, so we'll see how this progresses as the tanks get lighter.
Yeah, they were asking in the driver meeting if there was going to be a pit here, and I don't think the drivers were 100% certain whether they were going to pit or not. These cars do have a pretty healthy tank of fuel at the start of the race, and because they're about 275 horsepower, they're not going to burn as much fuel as an IndyCar might. But I think for the most part they're going to make it, but we'll see what happens.
Destino moving over, letting Spates on by. That was nice of him. He's just starting, his day's starting off real long there. It's already lapped down.
Yeah, that is a long day. I know he's one of the newer drivers here, and he's just happy with, learning the ropes, getting some miles and laps under the belt, and figuring it out from there. And that's what this series is really for.
I give him some props. As you know, I'm a bit of a wrestling fan, and I like to watch Japanese wrestling. And there's the current Japanese heavyweight champion, the IWGP heavyweight champion, Tetsuya Naito. His finisher is called Destino.
There you go. Oh, I saw Jasper locking up those tires in the first turn. They do have Destino. Okay, Destino gets out of the way.
We might have a pass for position here. He's close enough. You might be able to get him in a braking zone. Let's see.
Yeah, Jasper is really fast here. Started fourth, up to third.
Yeah, Patty up 5, and unfortunately Cothern down 9. Jasper, purple, 133.4439 that time by.
That was, that was the fastest lap of the race, yeah.
Yep. Patty and Hearn both just turned their fastest laps. Oh, Kresge just turned his fastest lap. All last lap.
Well, I think we'll see that as this race progresses. The fuel's coming down. Whoa! As Jasper locks up his front brakes and nearly runs into the back of Watson.
It's a lockup of necessity right there, because if he didn't do that, he is currently part of the gearbox.
Yes, he would have been. And then Jason Owens would have been smiling at that point because he'd be in P2.
Now, unlike the IndyCars, you do not have the push to pass. We'll probably talk about that during the IndyCar broadcast, but it's pretty much up to you and your accelerator foot to make sure that you make up that ground. No push to pass, no extra help. Whoa, diving in it deep. Wow.
Yeah, he really is diving it in.
And that was full send, as we like to say.
As he gets around, I wonder if Watson is maybe just thinking, I'm going to let this crazy guy get around me because he's going to run into me otherwise.
Well, there is that, and if you think the person's that crazy behind you, he might make a mistake later down the road, and you get that position back without putting a lot of effort into it. So, yeah, let the guy go, and it's still a long race. You got, another 20 laps to go. Maybe you get that back.
That's right. Well, looking through the field, way back to P8, I see Davis is gaining ground on Simon Fell. Adam Davis on Simon Fell. That's kind of our closest battle here that I can see, Gary.
Yeah, unfortunately, with only 12 cars on a circuit this big, it gets kind of strung out.
So I'm showing that Cothern, I'm just going to double check this, but yeah, Cothern is back out on the track. So all cars are running after that melee at the beginning of the race.
I don't know what Jasper is doing, but the kink on the casino straight, he almost clipped the wall at the kink. I don't know if he was looking at a gauge or something, but it's kind of an odd line.
Well, he certainly showed that an odd line would work for him, and into that turn one, because he was gaining so much ground on Watson. Yeah, he kind of takes like this low arc into the corner there.
Whatever works for him.
Yeah.
I'm not out there. I'm not a horrible road racer, but if he could do it, good power to him, man.
Yeah. Well, I told Chris here, the admin, I said I signed up for this particular league, but when he said that the Schaeffer's oil had had come in and sponsored this thing, that I was no longer going to get to race in this series. Unfortunately for me, I was going to be up in the booth. So.
So watching this battle between second and third, they are coming down into what is simply called, and when you translate it from French, the pin.
one of the kind of, well, the most notable points on this course visually, but then of course the chicane coming up is and the Wall of Champions is probably the most well-known point of this course.
Yeah. So what they're coming down is what is called the Casino Straight, and then they're coming into the 13-14 complex, and right there is the Wall of Champions. You name it, they've pretty much planted their rubber and side pod there.
Just about everyone.
And then the first set of turns here is the descent of turns, which is actually right here, right at the pit out.
The area that Jasper was making up so much ground on Watson there when they were battling. So that battle between Simon Fell and Davis has kind of evaporated. There's a 6-second gap between the two cars there.
Up at the lead, new purple lap, 133.250, up at the lead.
Yeah, looking at our leader, Andrew Spates. He's about 7 seconds ahead. Kind of, I think most of that was gained in the first few laps, really, of this race, where he just kind of checked out and he got to ride around on his own once he took the lead. Oh, I'm looking at him right now, and I think that was Robert Hodel was around coming out of the pen, as you said earlier, Gary.
Andrew kind of capitalized on a lot of confusion that was going on, and he just kind of separated himself, said, "See you later. You guys on the cold tires can spin out all you want. I'm going forward."
Yeah, he lost the lead for a moment, but then the guy who took over the lead, I think that was Cothern, he just spun it on the cold tires. We might be seeing a lot of that tonight with the IR18s and that new tire model. That's
right. They have new tire model plus new compounds that they get to use. Is it just a hard and a soft? Is that what it is?
Well, it's the reds and the blacks. The reds will degrade quicker, but I think they're going to be the reds, at least on the initial lap out. I think they're going to be at least a second faster than the blacks. So,
if you remember back when you and I started sim racing with IndyCar racing, it was normal to change your compound hardness or density, I guess, if you want to call it, for a race. I mean, you could start a race on softs and go to mediums if you wanted to. It's just IndyCar racing. You could just change it what you wanted to. It seems to be a lost art all of a sudden that just came back. It's just it seems like almost second nature to me from learning sim racing back through that medium and format back in the day.
Yeah, obviously there were tire wars back then too, between Goodyear and Firestone, and I don't know, the general feeling is that tire wars are bad for maybe the drivers, because it can kind of lead to dangerous situation, but I don't know the specifics about all that to really talk about it, but I see that written a lot. We've got Firestone, a great supplier in IndyCar. We've got Cooper Tire, does the PM18s and the Indy Pro here. And they make a good tire too. And of course we have a great oil company in Schaeffer Oil too, so let's do a quick commercial break for them.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
And we are back here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Andrew Spates is our leader. He's coming up on a lapped car, Chris Cothern. Oh, and there was another car there, that was Tony Patty.
Yep.
Looked like he looped it coming out of the pen. You could, I actually wasn't 100% sure that was the name of the corner, Gary, so you could have told me anything was the corner of the name, and I would have said, hey, that was the whatever corner it was. You have to test me next week.
I am not. I know more German than I know French, but I believe the French term for it is le pingle, which
Okay.
you translated it just simply translates to pin. So le I think means the, and so the pin.
Okay. Yep. I think you're right. And I might have saw. No, okay. I thought for a moment, so I'm looking at the leader, Andrew Spates here. I thought I saw a car that was ahead of him that was looping it again, but I was wrong. I didn't see that. Well, let's do a through the field here. So again, Andrew Spates, our leader. Christian Jasper.
Oh, sorry, he just still has the purple lap.
That's right. That was Andrew Spates with the purple lap. Christian Jasper started P4 up to P2. James Watson started P3. He's running in P3. He made it up to P2 at one point in time. He made it up to P1, in fact, and led, I think he led the first lap before Andrew got back around him. Jason Owens in P4. He's running the Riley Children's Hospital livery. He does a lot of charity, charity work. His stream, you can check it out. He does a lot of fundraising for them. So really good guy here in Jason Owens. Started P6, running in P4. Another one of our target cars, and Dylan Hearn running my number usually, in number 66. Started P8, running in P5.
3, yeah.
Taking advantage of others' misfortunes here.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there is not. So actually, Kresge here in P6, he's come under pressure from Simon Fell, so I think he might have had an issue there, because actually he let...
over. Yeah,
he let Simon Fell go around him. A 777 car of Kresge, an interesting number of choice by him, but I know he uses that one. So Simon Fell, they're just swapping places there, so he started 7th, he's in 6th now. Kresge had started 5th, and he's in 7th now.
Kresge in this lap to see maybe he makes a dive to pit road. He might have kissed the wall at some point. Maybe might come in and have his pit crew take a look at that. So I'm not quite sure, but typically you just don't pull over and let someone by unless you have an issue.
Yeah, he looks back up to speed though. We'll see if he heads into the pit lane.
Nope.
No, he just might have been getting his bearings. Maybe after a spin or something like that, because obviously he had lost some ground. I knew he was 5 or 6 seconds ahead, and oh, okay. I keep thinking them coming out of this out of that turn 1-2 complex that they're getting the rear end is coming around and it's a little bit of a fishtail, but I'm just seeing things. Oh, Kresge goes through the grass just a little bit there. Anyway, back to through the field. Chris Cothern started 2nd, so he was that car that took the lead just for a blink of an eye and spun it right about at this point on the track. And he's dropped back to about last position, but he's up to 8th now.
The leader all over him right now.
Yeah, the leader is all over him. Robert Hodel, our winner from last week at Michigan, started 11th, running in P9. Jeff Destino, he started from the pits, or he didn't qualify, right, Gary? And he's from 12th to 10th. And Tony Patty, another one of our admins, started 10th. He's back to 11th. I think Adam Davis has retired from the race, so one car out.
One retiree right now. So it's never too early to start thinking about the points situation. And Robert, of course, is your points leader coming out of the first race. At this point, you want to salvage as much of this day as you absolutely can. He started from the rear. It looks like he's having a bit of a rough day, but hey, it happens to all of us. I've been there, buddy. I understand. But basically, you want to have a nice, safe race at this point. Make up positions over other people's misfortunes and get as many points as you can. Don't give up, because every point matters in every championship race. It's called the Allenser Jr. principle. You stay out for as long as you can to get as many points as you can, and it pays off on the last race of the season.
That's right. And of course, next week we're heading to Homestead Oval for a night race in this series, and that'll be switching cars over to the IR18, if I remember correctly, right, Gary?
Yeah, that'll be the IR18 race, and I'm not quite sure exactly how the IR18 is going to handle and behave with the new model and everything. So that should be definitely interesting to see. The last couple experiences I've seen there have been pack races for the most part. It's a lot better when the traffic separates itself and allows these guys to use their talent to separate themselves.
That's right. Well, we'll see how these guys do with the whole, switch over to the big cars and try it out and see what they can do. Just a taste of what these guys can do, if they might improve and move up to the Schaeffer's Cup series next season. So we're 14 laps into this race with Andrew Spates just putting a lap on Chris Cothern there. Looks like Spates currently the best lap out here. Let's have a look down at best laps here. So I'm going to actually look, but I look quickly at miles per hour. You don't usually do that on the road courses, do you, Gary? But that fast lap for Spates is 103 mile an hour average. That is as I said earlier, 1 minute 33.251. Couple cars in the 33s. That was Jasper. We saw his interesting lines. That's, I guess, the quick line around this place.
Hey, whatever works for it. Be it far from me to say, hey man, you're picking the wrong line because, I'm sitting here with you, which that's not such a bad thing. But he's out there racing.
That's right. And actually, going back to best laps, so Cothern also fast out here. So he's. There's a group of cars that are, 34s and 35-second kind of laps, but Cothern back there in 8th, his fast lap's a minute 33 as well, just like the leaders. So he was a fast guy out here. We knew he was fast. He started second. So he'll be one to watch at the future road courses, and certainly next week when we move up to the big cars.
He's definitely maintaining pace with Spates. He's not really letting them get away. He gave up the position, but he's not definitely giving up the fight. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I did see him. He kind of got out of the way, was very gentlemanly about it. So good sportsmanship. We'll see. Maybe in the future, Andrew Spates is, maybe he's getting left and Cothern's the one doing it, and he might remember that. So...
That's the idea. I've seen many a good racing relationships start with that way, and I've seen many bad racing relationships start that way, but the guy not moving over at all, and the other guy's like, I'll remember that future down the road. Yeah.
Certainly no rule like in Formula One where you need to get out of the way when you see that blue flag here in this series. It's kind of a controversial subject to say, hey, that slow driver, that lapped car needs to get out of the way. We're just doing it. There's a blue flag for indicating that you're about to get lapped with leaders coming up, and it's just advisory, kind of up to the driver on what he wants to do at that point.
I think often the flag is mistaken for you're slow, and that's really not the case. I mean, yeah, in reality, you're kind of slow, but really it's a warning flag. It's no different than seeing the oil warning flag, and it doesn't mean that you're dropping oil. It just means there's oil on the track. It's just heads up, pay attention, something's coming that you might want to be aware of. And so I think the passing flag is often thought of as a more negative flag than what it really is. But it's certainly not a black flag. Let's put it that way.
I think that's a better way of putting it than I put it there, Gary, so I appreciate it. So I was just quickly looking.
Flies through the last chicane, overcooked that one a little bit, so he has to slow down and kind of allow the timing and scoring to make its time back.
Let's do a quick replay and see if we can get that excitement there. I missed it. I was not on him there, but now we're looking at it. Okay, yeah. So I think he's lucky that he might have tried to hop the curbs, but that might have caused some floor damage but no floor damage there. It didn't appear anyway. Jasper really put some time on Watson there in third place, over 13 seconds ahead.
I'm not sure what happened, but Hearn is down a couple spots. I don't know if he had a runoff somewhere or something. He was up, what, 5 to start or 3 to start, and he's now only up 1. So he's lost 2 positions. Not sure what happened, but that puts Fell in the 5th and Kresge in the 6th.
Yeah, he was certainly ahead of Fell and Kresge, so let's see if I can... I see an off track for Hearn. Let me go back and see if I can figure out what happened here. Looks like he was... Oh. That was actually, they'd already gotten around. Let me go back a little bit even further. Well, that's Watson. Yeah, I'm not seeing exactly what happened there, so we'll stop trying to figure that out. I see some different events that happened, some off tracks, and actually the leader is coming out around to lap Hearn here at this moment. Go on board. Okay, I thought that Hearn might be getting out of the way, but he hasn't yet. So that's kind of what we were talking about there. Okay, now Spates gets around him.
Well, and Hearn drove it in there real deep. He didn't want to give up that lap.
Yeah, you know, the point I would make when I'm getting lapped is I really don't want to get lapped, because if you're coming up to the final lap and somebody ahead of you, they spin out because you lost that lap to the leader, you're no longer going to be able to get past that guy that spun out or dropped out for whatever reason on that final lap. So that's why I'm going to fight really hard myself for it anyway. If I think I can maintain it anyway, but often that is not the case.
Well, there's nothing wrong with fighting, but sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. What's the last thing you want to do is really wreck the leader, because you will have a week full of someone's or a lot of people's criticisms being in your ear that you're going to have to put up with going into the next race. So whatever you do, I guess there's multiple rules of auto racing we've talked about. Rule 1, don't wreck your teammate. A little bit further down on that list is don't wreck the leader when you're back traffic.
That is right. You get in trouble with the stewards when you do that. Well, we've got 7 laps to go. Spates has really been dominating this one at this point. Fastest lap of the race. Jasper's last lap actually was a half second faster than Spates, but 13 seconds back, it's a little bit too late unless Spates puts a wheel wrong, but he hasn't shown that he's going to do that anytime here.
Watson went green on his last lap, so we're getting down to the bottom of the tank here. Lighter tanks, 7 laps to go. These cars are getting lighter.
That's right, but again, the tires are a little bit older than they had been.
Now, I guess more of a question for you at this point in the race, when you're coming towards the end, you have light tanks, you have used tires. Do you have to be more cognizant of the car losing the back end, much like when you have cold tires, when you kind of have worn tires toward the end? Is that something you have to worry about?
Yeah, it depends on the heat of the track. I don't have the heat here, but if it's actually I do have the heat. It was they were going to do a 69-degree ambient here. So that kind of track temperature, I mean, you're going to have, certainly track temperature is going to be warmer than that, but that's kind of a good temperature at this particular, in the iRacing world, for the ambient to be around there. Certainly with this car and this tire model, though, you're going to have a little bit, the tires are going to get greasy, but the fuel, it's going to help all that. I'm going to be curious to see. I haven't gotten the laps down with that IndyCar, though, to know how that affects. I haven't done a full fuel run, so that'll be interesting to see going forward how that works. I know how the old tire model works, though.
Kresge makes way for the leader, pulled over, let him by. That was real nice of him.
Yeah, I really do like Kresge's car here. I mean, I do like that it has a Raceverse logo on it too, but I like the red, white, and blue he's got. Well, it's more like a red, white, and chrome look to it.
Kind of reminds me of the old Domino's Hot One from back in the day. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Except more chrome to it, or
a lot more chrome to it. Yeah.
Okay. If I assumed you were talking about like the Ari Lyondike one, right? That Domino's.
Yeah, of course, that's the one he won the Indy 500 with. But before him, a number of drivers actually drove that. Danny Sullivan drove that for a while, and Alonso Jr. drove that for a while.
Yes, he did. I did see replays of that. Yeah.
Actually, the first driver of that was a long-term mainstay at the Indy 500. Howdy Holmes, he drove that for a long time. But yeah, I kind of missed the old Domino's Hot One. I see some people throw those throwback liveries that you could put on your IR18, and every now and then you'll get in the race and you'll see someone running the old Domino's Hot One, and you're like, man, that's still a cool looking livery.
I have a feeling that was an inspiration for Chris here, because I'm pretty sure he ran that livery last season at some point or another. He was usually running the Robbie Gordon Menards, like I think that might have been an Eagle chassis. Did Robbie Gordon run an Eagle?
That would have been his Champ Car kart Toyota.
Yes, that one. So Chris here would run that, but I do recall him running that Ari Lyondike. When I saw Hodel having another off track back here, as I see Jasper. Well, it might have been Hearn though. Yeah, Hearn and Jasper are hard to tell who's who there.
Come on, Robert, hold it together. Just 5 more laps to go, man. You're almost home. You're almost home.
He did lose a position somewhere in there because Destino's gotten around him, and he was 12th at one point. So Cothern, this is for position, isn't it? Cothern just got around, and Hearn trying to make a move, gets on the curb there. At first, I didn't realize that was for position, but it was for position.
It's for position. Hearn's going to try to maintain here. Maybe, he's got a little separation there, so he's not going to be close enough to get the pass back going into the center turns here. But Cothern making up a little lost time. Unfortunately, just a little too late into the race to capitalize fully on that.
Yeah, exactly. That Cothern's been running really fast laps this whole race, other than that initial lap where he had the trouble. But he's caught back up to the end of this field. He actually had a long pit stop included in all of that. So if he didn't have to do that, he'd have been in much better shape.
The entire pit delta that he suffered on lap 1 was 142 seconds. I mean, just to tell you how much he's flying here. I like to say he's racing with a little bit of anger.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to just look at Destino here. He started 12th up to 9th. He's just trucking along and making up some places here as everybody else drops out of the field. And actually, he had to do a pit stop at some point in time too. So even with all that, he's moving up a spot or two.
He had to stop on lap 2, and it wasn't a very long stop, probably just a wing replacement or something, but that was a 36-second delta. But hey, I've been in this position before. You want to make the race, you want to get the experience, so you start at the tail end of the field. You don't really want to get in people's way. You don't want to be the cause of the problem, but I don't mind capitalizing on other people's problems. So that's how you do it. Move up through the field, nice and quiet like.
That's right. 3 laps to go for Andrew Spates. Dominating performance here. We're going to hopefully get an interview with him after the race. Whoa, did you see that?
Oh, he got him. He got him.
He did get him. Wow.
Got him.
This is not what he wanted to see. But can he make it back to the pits?
I tell you what, how big of he has a 24-second lead. If he might just want to try to make it. He might just want to try to make
that tire looks horrible, but he's somehow keeping it on the track. Wow.
Yeah, as I was saying, I was talking about Jeff, and unfortunately, he, as I was giving him praise, he sits there and swaps ends and ends up clipping the leader. So let's see if he can hold it together.
I'm going to try to cut back and see if I can see what happened there.
He's got to be really careful in the pin right here, because that's the tire that's going to... Well, it has snapped itself back into place.
Has it? Yeah, I was curious about that.
We might have had
replay right now.
Yeah, we might have had some drama on our hands. We'll see. Let's see. He's got a 24-second lead, a 23-second lead. He doesn't have to run this thing really, really hard. If he's concerned about damage, just make it home. Make it home at this point. 2 to go.
Yeah, that has repaired itself. So that's an interesting thing, because I thought I was reading in the patch notes that we shouldn't see as many of those repairing themselves kind of things as we used to. But yeah, he's still going good. I was wondering how he was. His tire looked really bad, so I was wondering how he's going. I almost jinxed him, didn't I, Gary? I was like, we're gonna get a good interview with him, and then that happened in front of him. So I'm glad that I didn't jinx him.
Got a great pit crew. There you go.
Yeah, there a bunch of miniature guys out there working on the car.
Yeah, Destino pulls over in the turn 5-6 neighborhood there to give way to the leader. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to give as much room as possible at this one.
Yeah. I don't know if you have voice chat on there, Gary. I'd have been curious what they were saying.
I have him very lightly in the background, and I believe I heard a sorry or something very similar to that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Andrew said absolutely something different in his computer room on his rig.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, when we've got 30 almost, well, I don't know how many cars we're going to have between, over 20 cars out here tonight for the Cup Series. I think the voice chat is going to be something to you want to be listening to there, Gary.
It's going to be a little bit more like air traffic control.
That's right. And we are on to white flag lap here for Andrew Spates. We had that issue there. A moment for him there. Hart skipped a beat.
Yeah, he turned to 133.728, which is only a half a second off his personal best. So, I mean, he's not exactly lying back and taking a rest like I thought he would be. He's still laying him down.
I want to cut away here from the leader, unfortunately, because Cothern has caught up to Kresge, and he's less than 2/10 back. And obviously we know he's fast. He's over his best laps a second. It looks like Kresge's going to take either
defensive or
doesn't want to get run over.
That's
yeah, that looks defensive to me. Yeah, that is... Whoa!
Whoa! Yeah.
Well, he's around. Oh no! He got a slow down, and Gretzky takes it back. So I'm going to cut back to the leader though, because he's going to be right about
radio traffic going on there. So
yeah, wow. I'm glad I cut away from that.
Wide. Oh, we got. Oh, now they're talking about who deserves the position.
Oh, okay. Well, with that note, Andrew Spates going to take the victory here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Across the start-finish line. Congratulations.
We're going to have Christian Jasper. He's still on that back straightaway, coming up to the chicane. I see that battle still going on between... Well, actually, this is now between Simon Fell. No, okay, those are just lap traffic, I think. So, Jasper comes across the line in P2.
It's Watson for third.
And Watson for third. And Jason Owens just...
fourth?
Probably an uneventful race for Jason, but he's got to be smiling.
Hey, I'll take an uneventful race over an eventful race and finish fourth any day.
That's right. And so Simon Fell, I was seeing he was battling with somebody, but that was with Tony Patty, the lapped car. Well, let's see if we can get our leader in here, our winner in here. Andrew Spates, he is in Discord, so we'll see if he decides to join the booth. But yeah, good race, good run by Andrew, good run by Christian and James Watson here. Again, all these drivers are going to be looking to get into the big cars and the Schaeffer Cup cars. Maybe later in the season. Maybe Kresge will let him join at some point. There we go. We've got Andrew here. So let me be right back, and I'll get all this set up here. Okay, we're back. We're going to get our winner interview. Hey, Andrew, this is Matt Houston. I got you up in the booth. Maybe. I see he is on mute. He might hear us, but we do not hear him. It might be a little bit of the jitters. It's the unmute button. Maybe checking out his voice controls here. Our Victor here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Andrew, do you have a copy? He might have said something in the chat there. Okay, he's working on it. He's working on his issue, so no worries, Andrew. Take your time.
While we wait for him, Spates did have the fastest lap at 1:33.250. Owens and Fell were tied for the most positions gained with 4. Cothern, unfortunately, with his start, had the most positions lost with 4. But all in all, everyone made it home, with the exception of Davis. So we move on to the next race in Homestead, and I think, do we have our winner? Nope, not yet. So we'll wait for our winner here.
Yep. Let's look at our results here for everybody here. On the screen. Not that much different than what I already had on the leaderboard, though. We'll hang around here and see if he can figure it out. If he can't, then congratulations to him on this victory. I guarantee you he will make sure that his microphone's working, not winning, for the next one. I'll see. Maybe he's not allowed to get back in here. Hey, Andrew, we got you? Nope. He is unmuted, though, at least this time.
The technical gremlins.
Yeah.
At least your race went smoother than the interview.
Yes. Other than that one moment he had with that lapped car causing an issue with him.
Destino, yeah, with Destino.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have to maybe interview him next week and see how it went, because we've got a race to prepare for, don't we, Gary? We'll be back in about 35 minutes, I believe. Maybe less than that, maybe about a half hour for the big cars and the Schaeffer's Cup Series at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here at... And we'll be right back.
But I can't talk.
All right, well, we got Andrew back in the booth here. He had some technical difficulties. Congratulations on the victory there, Andrew. Tell us about your race.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a fun track, and I felt like I had the pace if I can just be consistent. And when I was doing a lot of practicing. After 10 laps, I always bend it. So I was getting a little worried that I'd do the same, but I managed to hold on and got a little bit of pressure at the beginning there, but was able to overtake it back after that kind of weak start. But no, it was fun.
Yeah, well, there was you call it a weak start, but maybe it was a smart start, and obviously the cold tires caught a lot of drivers out here.
Yeah, you got to be really careful and really just smooth on the throttle. Once you kind of figure the throttle control and just doing some counter steering, you can kind of handle that a little bit. So, no, it was a fun butt pucker there at the beginning.
Tell us about that other moment.
Obvious question that we all want to know: what happened there?
With Jeff Destino, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him kind of lock up there and go, and I thought this is not going to be good. Maybe he'll just stay to the side, and I don't know if he just didn't see me or whatever. He kind of gave me a little love tap there, and luckily there was nothing too damaging there, so all good.
Watch the video.
Yeah, wait till you watch the video, because your tire for probably a half a lap is completely like sideways. So we're like, how is he going to get to the end with 3 laps to go? But then, your magical pit crew repaired itself. So
no, it's I had incidences like that in the past where it wobbled for a bit. So I was glad that I had that super strength duct tape today.
Yes, that's right. Hey, any sponsors, anybody you have watching out there you want to do a shout out to?
No shout outs, just enjoy racing with everybody. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to improving my oval game for next week, and hopefully can continue at the top of the front here.
Hey, one last thing. Any advice to the Cup drivers that are going to be experiencing this new tire model and these slick tires when they're fresh anyway and cold?
Yeah, so take it easy the first few laps and definitely just have a very smooth throttle control. And if you feel like you're starting to oversteer, just let off a little bit and, kind of counter steer and go. But really the name of the game is just try to be consistent. Don't try to overdrive the car. And when you end up inside of some traffic, just give people some space.
All right, that's Andrew or Victor here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'll be back in a half hour or less than that at this point, at 9:30 tonight for the Cup Series.
Thanks.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, welcome to the main event of the night, round number 2 of the Schaeffer's Cup from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. For Race First, I'm Matt Houston, joined by Gary Godso here in the booth. Hey, Gary.
It's Christmas morning for us IndyCar drivers when it concerns to iRacing with all the new things we got today. But it's also going to be like Christmas morning for those of you watching at home with 25 cars, at least, in this race, all not knowing how to run the new tire and the new model. So this should be fun.
That's right. So this Schaeffer's Cup is for the veteran drivers here in the series. Serious experience. Our winner last week was Craig Forsyth. We know Craig from the TI series there. He's a little bit back in 15th, though, in this qualifying session. He's actually out here on black tires. That's one of our talking points here for tonight. Black tires and red tires. The red tires are the fast tire. The black tires are the a little bit slower tire, but are supposed to last a little bit longer.
It's the old hard and soft compounds. Yep.
That's right. So for the longest time, Julian Altina was on the provisional pole, but he just got knocked off by Caleb Bensi in that race versus number 1, our champion from last season.
And Forsyth finds the wall.
Yeah, Forsyth, again, our winner from last week. I do actually know, so we talked a little bit in that podium interview. So he's a little bit more of a fan of the Mosport circuit rather than Montreal here. So maybe this isn't his favorite track out here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
If I recall on the TILMCgear.com IndyCar iRacing series, when they had a race there, I think he finished on the podium. So that is quite true. I think he's a better fan of the Mosport track. And to be honest, I like the Mosport track a lot better than this one too. But that's not saying a whole lot for me, though.
I'll have to put my favor in the Montreal circuit here. street course. I mean, although it is a street course, but it's certainly not bumpy like we're used to in an IndyCar street course. We do know that the kart and Champ Car series did run here from 2002 to 2006. Won by Dario Franchitti in that first event, and last by Sebastian Bourdais in the 2006 event. And we're only about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying here.
So the looks like we got Caleb on the pole right now with a 121.516. The overall track record is well, you have a race record and then you have the outright qual record. The race record is Valtteri Bottas, and that was last year at a 113.078. And then Sebastian Vettel 110.240, also from last year's race. So they were moving.
Yes, they were moving. That's quite a lap from those Formula One cars, even with V6 engine, small V6 engine. But here we're in the Indy cars with 2.3 liter unbadged engine here in the iRacing series.
Well, in comparison, these guys are like the Formula One cars are like a lightweight aluminum, and these are cast iron. You know, if you're going to kind of break it down and make it in simple terms, it's night and day difference between the weight of those cars versus the weight of these. And but hey, it's going to be they're still turning great laps. They have the push to pass, which I'm sure some of them are using, but it's going to be a great race, and it's going to be interesting. Those guys that are about the maybe third, fourth, fifth row back, when the accordion effect starts to hit when that first turn comes up, are we just going to have one pile over another, or everyone going to give each other a little room? Personally, if it's me, I might start from the pits, but I don't have a lot of guts when it comes to these type of things. So maybe everyone's not like me.
Yeah. We were discussing off air that certainly the choice of maybe doing a starting from the pits is an option here, but I know a lot of these guys want to go for this championship. Caleb, Julian, Dakota, Alex, Will Zeller, another fast guy here. He's a little bit off here, though. He won a lot of our road course races last season, but slightly off pace tonight. Maybe what tires is he on?
He is on the primes.
Okay, so you might be doing a strategy of some sort, trying to qualify on primes. There's a little bit of a question on whether you're going to start the race on the tires that you qualify with. So we'll see. And Christopher Albee in that Papyrus IndyCar Racing 2 car goes P3. So he's really cooking it here.
I got to find that soundbite of Paul Page.
Well, he ran it all last season, so I'm willing to bet he'll be running it for the rest of the season here. That's a really cool car.
And he should. And I was telling him over on the Discord server that if he ever needed to get a teammate or anything, there's still the IndyCar 1 livery that he can use for the team car, and I think that would look great to see both of those cars on the grid. Of course, IndyCar Racing 2, soft spot in my heart. It's where I learned to cut my teeth on sim racing, and really it's the spiritual successor to everything that you see here today.
That's right. I mean, some of the code in this thing still goes back to the NASCAR Racing 2003 game. I don't know how much code these days. You never know how much, for instance, like the Quake engine is still around, but how much of that code in that latest Quake type game, actually, I don't even know if they use that anymore, but well, Half-Life, I think at one point in time, that Source engine used. I'm going total nerd on you there, Gary. I'll stop this conversation.
I think Grand Theft Auto actually uses that engine still.
It might have, yeah. Anyway, looks like Bensie's going to be our pole sitter. I'm going to try to see here, Gary. We got a lot of cars, so we might want to try doing this grid as early as possible. I'm going to try to pull it up and see if it's going to cooperate with us. And it looks like it is. So we've got Caleb Bensie, our pole sitter, at a 1 minute 21.516, followed by Julian Altena. Really good lap by him. He's about 2:45 in the morning for him, something like that. Christopher Albee in P3, Gavin Sanders P4, Dakota DeMed in that Voltic pistol car, followed by Alex Van de Zandt. So quite a few of our championship competitors there in the top 6 positions. On to Gary.
Seventh, we have Will Zeller. Eighth, Mark Johnson. Back to the next row. Ninth, Elliot Borg. 10th, Dylan Blanton. 11th, Michael Berry. And in 12th, our man Shane Coogan.
Followed by 13th, Adam Nash, Nicholas Isidro, P15, Garrison Hogan, Craig Forsyth, our winner from last week in P16, Hayden Herman, our second place from last week in 17th, followed by Eric Hodel. On to Gary.
We got Wes Shire in 19th, Cole Stranahan in 20th, Mike McCullen, in 21st, John Fries in 22nd, Nathaniel Johnson in 23rd, and Drew White in 24th.
Followed by 25th, John De Matteo, Neil Lusher in P26, Peter Donchak in P27, and Connor Baldwin's 29th. We've got an admin in 28th, Angelo Espo. These are just guys that haven't actually set a lap. I'll just follow these off. We got Ryan Lewis, actually finished third last week, and Joseph DeCiro, and another admin, so that will not be on our grid here. So we'll be getting ready to go here momentarily.
Yeah, we got all those red just in time. It's looked like we got so many cars. They're halfway down the casino straight, getting ready to go wrap around the hairpin down there. We got so many of them.
Yeah, this is a amazing grid. Thanks for everybody out there watching out here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for everybody watching. And if you like what you see, make sure you check out the subreddit, of course, and make sure you search out the Reddit League on iRacing, because as you see, a lot of folks have got some interest in this, and the more the merrier. Although I'm going to say on a road course that might not be what you really want to see today. We'll see, though. That's a screenshot for the ages right there. Someone ought to snap that with all those cars on the grid. That is outstanding. Use that for a promotional shot later in the season.
Well, I'll certainly be putting that in a tweet tomorrow. I usually do a three or four. That's at RaceVerse on Twitter. Looks like we're rolling away, though, and Caleb Bensi, our pole sitter, really fast here today, followed by Julian Altona. These guys, as we saw in that earlier race with the PM18 cars, we're going to be in for a show here on the very beginning here, though, with these cold tires. Completely new tire model for these guys out here.
And they've literally only had hours to really try this thing out. So, hey, these guys basically are test pilots, as it looks like.
Looks like they're going to start this off as smart as possible, string him out a little bit, get Caleb starting as early as possible.
Yep, good call.
Caleb into turn one a little bit.
Caleb cooks them going to the one. Here comes Julian on the inside.
Julian on the inside, taking the lead. We've got Gavin Sanders in that U.S. Air Force car in third. And Christopher Albee, and he's around in front of Dakota DeMade. So our Papyrus IndyCar guy going around, and I see Alex Van de Sant also having an off in that chicane there. So Dakota's going to take a couple spots. These cold tires, as we were saying.
Julian, I think Julian cut the 5.6 or the 5.6 or the 7.6 chicane there. So, actually, it was the 8.9 chicane. So he had to actually slow down, and it allowed Bensi and Sanders to get the bounce on him.
Yeah, Sanders was really fast. We did a practice race over at the Homestead Roval, and he was one of the new guys that was really fast that particular race. So we were keeping an eye on him for this on these road courses. Caleb Bensi's
he's sporting that Connor Daly livery there.
Oh, and Julian dropping down through the order. What happened to him? He might be out. We're gonna get a replay of that. See what happened to him, unless he's disconnected or something.
Yeah, he's gone. I don't know if he smacked the wall and just.
Something happened here on my overlay. Okay, so I've got Julian on here now. Dakota's right behind him, and Dakota actually did hit him into the... And it looks like Dakota's damaged as well. But his car repaired itself, appeared.
Got a bunch. Oh, magical repair again.
Yeah, so we're seeing some interesting magical repairs here. Well, we'll see. Julian will not be happy with that one.
No, Julian is done. His left rear, he went right to toe. He might have retired at that
There's
point.
no fast repair. Well, I thought there was a fast repair here on the road courses, but not on the ovals. Looks like Dakota slowed down the straightaway here, though.
Yeah, he's rapidly falling back.
Yeah. Well,
Van Descent, purple, 122.992.
I was just about to mention that. Van de Zandt moving up from P6 to P3. Zeller, another fast car. We're kind of expecting him to qualify a little bit better than he did, but he's up a couple spots from 7th into 5th.
Baldwin up 11 spots.
So Dakota here is still out on the track. He did not opt to go into the pits. He's dropped back to, well, he just passed and he got into 11th here, so he might have just been, might have a slowdown or something. He was very slow. Just gathering it all together, and for some reason it's showing Mateo in...
Yeah, Mateo is the
that
leader.
That is not correct. I'm not sure
I wonder
why
if
that is.
I wonder the overlays are having a hard time with the number of cars that we have. It's the only thing I can think of. Yeah,
that's correct. That should not be a problem. But anyway, Caleb is in P1. Yeah, it's struggling with the cars out here tonight. Everything just needs, and once they pass the start-finish line, everything's going to get corrected there. Looks like... So
Bency, Sanders, Van de Zandt, Zeller, Johnson, Blanton, Borg, Coogan. I want to say his name right. Is Citero, and DeMade now is in 10th. Did I say the name right?
Yeah, you did. And I actually, for a moment, I even said DeMade's name incorrectly. I was thinking back to Chris Scala on the other broadcast. He says, I'm not even going to say it how he says it, but I said it the way he said it. And I certainly know it's DeMade. And made that clear the very first race.
With the pass on the inside going into turn 8, and he pulls it off, so he has moved up to seconds.
Big mover here, Alex Van de Zandt. So again, these tire management here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this one's something we have not used to is tire management, but Van de Zandt with a deep break into the pin, made up a lot of space on Bency. Here they come down the Casino Straight. Let's see if he's continuing to use this deep braking zones to make up this time that he's losing behind in regular traffic.
And that's the Happy Trails Hot Chili Mix car there of Alex Van de Zandt. Also lmcgear.com on that car. We'll go on board with him as he chases down Caleb Bency. And that race for his Fawn and Fanny car.
Yeah, Van de Zandt's got it down under a second now.
That in Formula One, that would be the DRS zone, but not here in IndyCar.
Van de Zandt now within a second.
Yeah, he's really caught him.
I don't know. I think
trying to cruise. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might have latched on to something with these braking zones and these new tires. And if that's the case and no one's figured it out, this pass might be the only pass we see it as he runs away. But hey, as they say, you still got to make it.
Yeah, and we heard from a particular driver earlier that these tires are going to fall off maybe lap 6 or 7, maybe even 8. So we'll see what happens here. That last lap for Caleb was a minute 24. We know his qualifying was a minute 21, so a couple seconds off of that.
Set popping that curve in Champions Corner there, Champions Wall. Let's see, Van de Sant went a 1:23, so he was a little bit off of his fast time, but he is faster
Yeah,
that lap around.
0.8 of a second faster than Caleb there. Really good.
Looks like we have Forsyth and Baldwin are making some early visits to pit road, probably with some damage.
Could be tire strategy, though, if that tire fall off is as big as we think it might be.
Well, if they started on the tires they don't want to, I would guess that's a good point. As soon as the window opens, I want these things off.
That's right. And I could see Alex there really pushing it into the corner, though, so he's got to be using some tire there. We do see Van de Sant currently has the fastest lap of the race. He was actually a minute 22. I think that's the only car in the minute 22s. So nearly
so far
qualifying speed.
Whoa, he keeps popping those corners.
Yeah, you got to be careful at that chicane. Those curbs can really put you into that champion's wall.
And there's at least 3 cars on pit road that have retired, in addition to, I think, Altena as well. So rough start for a couple folks.
Yeah, I can see Julian's in chat talking about I'm talking about the race. Hopefully he keeps it clean. Gavin Sanders dropped back about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds from Alex.
Well, that's probably a wise thing. When those two get tangled, you want to give yourself some room to make it around. So if it's not because he's saving the car, it's definitely because maybe he's given a little bit of extra buffer there. I don't blame him.
That's right. Another move developing back there in 7th and 8th position. Dylan Blanton is catching Shane Coogan. Shane and Tyler, both the Coogan brothers, having a lot of trouble back there at our last race in Michigan. Both of them having early nights, DNFs.
Fortunately, I've been a victim of what they happened to them, and it's just getting caught up in someone else's wreck, and that nothing angers you and disheartens you more than getting caught up in someone else's mistake.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do when you have that is get into another race, but these guys had to wait a week for that. So I see Forsyth coming out of the pits in front of these cars. He looks like he kind of keeps out of the way.
And he has moved to the harder of the 2 tires, so he's like, no more reds for me, man. I'm done with those.
Oh, we've got a crash. Dakota. Looks like Dakota's going to be done here. There was a car spun in front of him. It might have been a lapped car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
And we go right to toe.
Yep. And I see going back to the leaders, Alex Van de Sant has dropped back a couple positions.
Yeah, there must have been as we were looking through, he's now no longer there. I don't know if we made a mistake or what, but it's now Benzie and Sanders, Zeller, and then Van de Sant. Zeller keeps steadily moving up.
That's right. And Hogan is on the... Okay, Hogan was the car that DeMade collided with, and it showed him in the lead, but he's not in the lead.
Yeah, the timing of scoring is all whack here.
Yeah. I think it's, again, we've got so many cars out here, so...
But I will say, let's go ahead and take a look at Zeller-Sanders battle, because that is something that is quickly developing.
Yeah, that is coming together. So...
whoa! He swipes it! Oh, and into the wall!
Into the wall.
Oh, that's it.
That
done.
is, he's done there. And we
broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah. These tires appear to really have gone off. So that last lap, we saw Alex with that best lap of a minute 22. His last lap was a minute 28. So 5 seconds off. Caleb's last lap, he's kind of kept it pretty much on the minute 24s, being very consistent.
And he's coming up to a trio of lap traffic cars.
And I could just see him. He was in the pen there. He's just those tires are really off. Kind of keep an eye on Caleb here, see if he decides to duck into the pit lane. But you know, he's in the command of this race now. But he's got several lapped cars ahead of him.
In the pits.
Well, that might be a wise decision. We're going to be looking at 2 or 3 pit stops here tonight because of these tires. And Caleb is caught in lap traffic. Oh boy, I don't know if you're watching him, but these lap cars ahead of him are really slow. He almost got involved in something there, so that might be why Alex was just pulling off there.
There's a car in the 7-6 area that's off into the side that spun out in the Robbie Ford livery.
So we'll have to see Alex Van de Zandt back on the track now, and we're going to have to see he's on black tires now. A little bit slower, but these should last a little bit longer. That's the idea anyway.
It's interesting. The overlay that I'm using for information shows if you got the red tires on, there's a yellow icon next to you, and if you have the red tires on, you have a different color icon next to you. So it's just like, yeah, red tires have the yellow icon and black tires have the red icon. It's like, oh, confusing. So yeah, they got to get that fixed.
Well, Caleb stays out. He's just gonna. Okay, well, that last lap, he did have that lap traffic. It was a minute 27. Van de Zandt, that was on his pit out lap, a minute 38. We'll have to see this next lap, though, if he starts, setting some really fast times. But Caleb's making these red tires really work. So is Gavin Sanders and Elliot Borg. They're going a little bit longer. Actually, Borg appears to be on the black tires.
It's on the blacks, yes.
Yeah. So he should be able to go longer than any of these guys on the red tires.
If that's the case, he's sitting in a pretty good position.
That's right, but I believe how it should work, he's going to have to switch over to the red tires at some point in time, though. So it's his option on when to do that. A big mover here, though. McCullen up from 21st place, running in 9th. Keep an eye out for Caleb hitting the pit lane, by the way.
Yeah, I got him. We got Shire up 12. We have McCullen up 12. We have Stranahan up 10. Lusher up 14. Donchak up 14. And a lot of that is, I like taking advantage of it too, is misfortune of others.
That's right. And again, some of these guys... Oh, I just saw a car completely disappear on me there. It was the Hayden Herman car, and he's making a move on Stranahan. So again, and then he just loops it. And that was in front of the leader, too. Those guys, friends off the track.
Loose association teammates, even though we don't have teammates here.
That's right. We don't have teammates here in the Schaeffer's Cup here.
Got stuck behind the Petronas car. That's a sweet-looking livery right there.
Yeah.
And it gives chance for Sanders to make up a little bit of room. Deep. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So that
Sanders
was
coming up on him. That did not help at all.
That could be Caleb being on older tires, and
Caleb did not like that. He got on the radio and he was like, "Come on, man."
Yeah, that was a little hot into the braking zone. You don't want to be taking out the leader there.
So is he going to make that turn?
No, he's not.
No, he's going to go.
He's trying to make this thing a one-stopper, I think. Because, okay, on fuel, they can go 16 to 18 laps. That'll take you right to the end. So... Oh, okay. I thought I saw a car about to wipe out there, but I didn't. So last lap for Van de Zandt, who's basically, he's opted for the 3-stopper, or 2-stopper here, guaranteed. Last lap, minute 24. Caleb's last lap was a minute 26, so 2 seconds faster, but again, Caleb was dealing with that lap traffic. I want to see the kind of lap Caleb's doing on his own on these red tires at the end of their life, basically.
Why you do that? I mean, I don't remember, and I don't know if it's because of this tire model or just so many cars and people just, run into each other or made mistakes. I don't remember the TI race, which maybe had 20 cars in it, have this many cars a lap down at 13 laps into the race. Yeah. There are quite a few cars a lap down. The first 9 cars are on the lead lap. Stranahan just went the lap down. That was that incident in the pin that we just saw. But other than that, it's only the top 9 that are on the lead lap. After that, everyone is at least 1 lap down.
That's right. And I see quite a few cars have lengthy pit stops in addition to all of that.
So Vinci went 125, 007.
Yeah, so his tires are definitely off, but he's maintaining that speed as another...
But he has another car in front of him.
Sanders has caught him, though. He's only 7/10 back.
Yeah, he was there. He's within fight shooting distance here.
Borg is back about 10 seconds from that group, but again, he's on the black tires. So on this next stint of his, he'll be the faster one, and Caleb and Gavin, I think they'll be required to be running the black tires. I mean, that would be IndyCar rules, but I don't know exactly what we're running here, since we had this patch come down.
This morning
came back up noon today. I immediately went and got all the content and made sure my overlay here was working correctly.
So if you were Borg and you're more the road racer than I am, are you just kind of cruising to this point knowing that first and second place have to pit? Or am I pushing to decrease that delta as best as I can?
He's doing very comparative laps to them, and even though he's on those black tires. Alex is... Dylan's doing 24s, but Alex is really the only one that's kind of solidly in the 24-second lap. So Wes Shire or Shear, need to get confirmation on that one, but he's run the Homestead coffee car out of Homestead, Florida, I believe, and he recommends that coffee, and he's got it on his livery there. And he's started 19th. I see Alex hitting the pits again. He might be opting. I'm really flabbergasted a little bit what the strategy is here.
Yeah, I don't know unless he has some damage on him that we can't see. No, he has all the wings. So he's going to come in, and this might just be normal.
Because I don't think he can make it to the end of the race from here either, though.
Jacks are up, cars down, and I think we're still on black tires.
Huh. Well, that's an interesting strategy. We'll have to... Well, we'll see where he ends up and see what happened to him there.
I'll give Alex all the credit in the world. He is a really good strategist, and if he thinks that maybe he can undercut somebody, he will absolutely do it. And like I said, this guy can work wonders, and no surprise. Whoa, and he kind of locks him up, but he has cold tires coming into that chicane area, bounces it off the grass a little bit. But this guy can definitely work wonders with cars that are not behaving well or underpowered or damaged. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I've hired him to race for me in another series here, and he's he comes into the race, he knows exactly what the fuel stints are going to be. But again, this one today is maybe less about fuel stints and more about tire stints with such a small amount of information on what they're going to do out here.
Vincey's still going. He has Donchek as a lapped car in front of him that he's closing the gap on. And a little bit of a lockup coming in there into the pin, but we're all right. All right, Donchek just told him to go ahead and pass me on the inside, so he acknowledges the leaders and is going to give him room.
Yeah, that's a gentlemanly move there from Donchek there.
And a thank you from the guys, so that's what I like to see.
And Caleb stays out for more laps.
And I don't think Sanders, if Sanders sees him dive in, Sanders will come in. At this point, Sanders just should do whatever Vincey does. I'm sure that's what he's doing.
My strategy, if I was driving here, though, I would probably, if I knew I could get to the end, I might pit a lap earlier and get that, undercut. Try to undercut Caleb here. I don't know if that's 100% possible. I think they can make it from here, though, on one stop. So I would try to get those fresh tires. That last lap for Sanders is 1:26, so these tires are pretty wasted at this point. Thanks to everybody out there for watching us here tonight. Good viewership here.
Yep, this time around it's going to be more than halfway, so we'll see if they make the dive or they're going to give themselves a couple of extra laps on the other side of the halfway point. We'll see. We're coming to that point where they're going to make that dive down the pit road here soon as they're coming down now starting down the Casino Straight.
I really have to figure that this is the time that they're going to come in.
And they're making the dive in. There it is.
Let's watch.
All over those brakes. Get down there, yeah.
So Sanders stays out, and so he's going to try to do some kind of overcut here. He does have a lap car ahead of him. That looks like McCullen and a P9. So again, like you were saying, there's a lot of lap cars out here. McCullen gives him room. Our new leader, Gavin Sanders.
I'm keeping an eye on the leader, or Vincey in the pits. We have gone to blacks, as you expect.
Yep. I've got him on too. He's revving that engine.
Down and away.
Down and away, but let's see. He's got these, cold tires. We saw that problem with Alex on cold tires. It used to be your tires were pretty much ready to go. Maybe it took 2 or 3 corners for them to be up to temperature, but it takes an entire lap for them to be ready to go here.
Yeah, he's operating with like he has a little egg under his accelerator right there. Just kind of feather foot it. Don't want to swap the ends and make anything worse than what it could possibly be right now.
So Sanders hits the pits, locks it up just slightly, going into the pit lane, and we'll see.
I'm gonna wonder if Blayton is gonna make the dive on the pit road here.
I'd have to imagine he will be.
He is, and he is.
So now keeping an eye on Vincey here and see where Sanders comes out ahead of him, or ahead or behind him.
It's the curbs.
I think this could be a tight race here into with Sanders coming out of the pit. Sanders is out of the pit lane, but it's going to be Vincey's going to retake the lead. Oh, side by side, but
oh yeah, it's a lot
Vincey
closer than I thought it would be.
Sanders on cold tires here. They got lap traffic ahead of them.
Oh, none of this is good. None of this is good.
Both on the black tires now.
So it's Nathaniel Johnson and Cole Stranahan who are kind of and one pulls off, and now it's Stranahan.
Whoa!
Remember Yeah, remember him and Stranahan had that bit of a disagreement going into the pin the last time.
Yeah.
Okay, this time Stranahan dives to the inside, lets him go.
Yeah, I saw Caleb there did make a move, and the lapped car had made the similar move. And
Sanders might have had a "come on, man" in the radio as well. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and listen to that as well. Stewards might have to have a word with the drivers about watching themselves when the leaders come up on them.
That's
Hey,
right.
I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. I've been there before. I'm just as guilty. It happens.
Well, the next road course we're doing, Gary, is going to be even more wild than this one. It's going to be on December 30th. It's going to be Watkins Glen Cup. No bus stop.
Wow. No bus stop, no boot. Those are going to be easily sub 1 minute laps. They
That's
would
right.
be absolutely flying.
That's right. So, but next race, we're going to be at Homestead next week. Back on the oval, so it'll be interesting to see again how this tire model works on the oval. And that'll be next week.
With the ovals, they don't have to change compounds. That's mainly a road course type of thing. Yeah. Correct. So I mean, there is a different tire model for the car, and it's a single tire type for the ovals. I did do some testing today on the Indianapolis track because we have new setups as well. A lot of the baseline setups have been changed, and I found the car to be a lot more twitchy under the qual setup, which there's nothing in itself wrong with that, because I think actually in real life a car should be a lot more twitchy, especially at Indianapolis when you're in qual trim, because all that downforce you need to get through those corners, which are relatively flat at 9 degrees. I expect the back end to dance around a little bit, and that's kind of what it felt like. So I think these guys are going to have a little bit of extra testing to do during the week, because Homestead's not going to behave like it has before in the past.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, the curious thing to see is how the tire fall off is going to be. You mentioned how qualifying might be a little bit more twitchy, but how is the tire fall off going to be? Especially, we know it's going to be a night race, so in the past, there wasn't that much tire fall off when it was a night race, but maybe with this tire model, there will still be tire fall off. Gavin Sanders really sticking onto the gearbox here of Caleb Bensey, really on him. It was down to 4/10 at one point, back up to 8/10 after some corners. Van de Zandt's, I think he looked like he was close to somebody, but he's back up to 6th. Let's do a through the field. We haven't done
Got a lot of people to look at.
So we've got Caleb Bensey, our leader, led quite a few laps. Gavin Sanders in P2, he led a lap or two with the pit sequence there. Dylan Blanton started 10th, he's up to 30, so he's got to be happy about that. Mark Johnson in P4, started 8th, running 4th. Nicholas Isidro is in 5th, he started 14th though. Alex Van de Zandt, two of my teammates there sometimes. Started 6th, running in 6th. Wes Shearer, that Homestead coffee car I mentioned, started 19th, 7th. Elliot Borg was fast early. He was on those black tires. He's now on the red tires. Is Gary, can you check, is he the only one in the top 10 that's like on those red tires?
Isidro is.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it. Everyone
Borg,
else is on the blacks.
Borg is showing, because I see it on the screen, that he's on the reds as well, though, too.
Yeah. Well, Borg and Isidro are
Okay.
the only two in the top 10 with the reds.
And we got McCullen there in 9th. Really good run for him, up from 21st position. Garrison Hogan, I think he was involved with a crash earlier, possibly with Dakota Maid. Started 15th, running in 10th. Cole Stranahan. So these cars from here, from McCullen, actually were a lap down. Stranahan started 20th, running in 9th. That's in that Mercedes. And our 5th place car from John Freeze, actually, there. I confirmed that, Gary. He's actually hitting the pit lane as we went to him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a new livery, actually, a really cool looking livery. You can check that one out if you can.
New World Aviation. Yeah, that is pretty
Yeah.
cool. I really, really like original liveries, and I really like people when they use really good throwback ones. I said we got an Allentor Jr. out there. I think we saw a Helio Castro Neves shell. I think we got a Michael Andretti Havoline out there. Going back and diving back into the history of IndyCar, and it looks like it's a drive-through penalty that he got there. Anytime you could dive back into the ooh, and the Castro car behind him almost slid up into him coming out of the pits. That would have sucked. But anytime someone could go dive back into the history of IndyCar and bring back one of the liveries of the great liveries of the past, that is awesome for me because it always brings back good memories.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on. We've still got a really good battle for the lead here between Bensi and Sanders. I keep seeing it, the gap flipping between 0.3 of a second to 0.8 of a second to 0.5 of a second as they head into the pen and onto this long straightaway. I do have some information on push to passes. It's saying they each have 8, but I suspect this is bad information. I can't imagine these guys still have 8 push to passes left unless they're saving them to the end of the race.
Vinci gets it right up next to that wall.
So this last lap, Bensi was just slightly faster on that one as they crossed the start-finish line, 0.3 faster than Sanders.
So unlike the PM18 race before, where we saw further into the race, purple, we haven't seen a purple lap for a while, and it's still Van de Sant's 1:22.891 is still the purple lap, and that was set fairly early in the race.
Yeah, and that was set on the red tires. He's out there on the blacks still. I really can't imagine anybody's going to head to pit lane, though. I mean, we think they could be two seconds faster, the red tires, but they're only going to last, 6 laps.
Well, Vinci at 17, Sanders at 18, Blanton at 18, Johnson at 17. Van de Sant pit at 14, so I don't know if he's going to have to. He might have to stop again. And Isidoro stopped at 12. I think he's going to have to stop again. Shearer at 18, Borg at 17, McCullen at 17. All stopped. Hogan is at last lap stopped at lap 8, so he is probably due in any minute.
Yeah, he would be.
In fact, I just flipped to him to see if he makes the dive down to pit road this time by.
Okay, so I was talking about push to passes. So I did see that Gavin's number went down to 7, so we might be getting real information here. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go on board and when they come out of that back straightaway and see if we can see anything here. If he lights up for us. Obviously, it'll have to be on Caleb's gearbox pretty well to hit that button, but we're heading into a little bit, half a lap from 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it's like that HSA account when you have with your benefits. You got to use it or lose it, so might as well. Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah.
Still keeping an eye on Borg here as you're watching the leaders and see if he makes the dive on the pit road here. Yep, and he's making the dive. No, he is not. He is going through Champion's Corner there, or Champion's Wall. So he is on the Reds, and he's been on the Reds for... Oh, sorry. You know what? It's not Borg. It's actually Hogan is lap 8. Was the person that stopped in lap 8. Hogan is still on schedule. Or Borg is still on schedule. Hogan is not.
Well, before the end of the race here, I'm going to do another quick plug to our sponsor here, Schaeffer's Cup. I'll run a commercial for them.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All
Check.
right, and we are back to live pictures here. Watching our leader. So he's actually gapped. Well, as I say that, I see him right on the gearbox of Caleb through that pen section, that hairpin. But Caleb pulls out. I mean, that slipstream is really powerful, but you have to get a really good exit.
And you really can't just throw yourself into braking in 13 and 14, because if you miss it, you're smacking the wall. There is no runoff.
Well, I was going to mention earlier, so Caleb there, he led something like 86 laps at that Michigan race. We don't want to, and then he finished 4th, so we don't want to jinx him or anything like that, talking about how many laps he's led here tonight. But he's led them all just about here, other than a couple laps through pit sequence that Sanders led. Gets those valuable points for leading a lap.
Van de Sande on pit road again.
Okay, so that'll be his final pit stop. I was actually going to cut over to our winner from last week. So Craig Forsyth here did have an issue at one point in time, and he hit the pit lane. Apparently, let's see. I'm just double checking how many. Okay, see, it says he's done 3 pit stops here, so he's a lap down or 2 laps down, but he's running 13th. So the attrition in this race has just been massive.
His last stop was not lap 19. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like Van de Sande has reds on, and he's down and away.
So I was just switching to Isidro here, because he was right behind Elliot Borg, but Isidro's having some connection issues, I think. It shows them as 8/10 of a second, 9/10 of a second now, back from Borg, but Isidro's definitely having some connection issues.
Leaker, yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually,
and it's breaking my machine.
yeah, I had to cut away from him and follow Borg instead. So I'm pretty sure that he had an issue with a disconnect right before the Michigan race. So unfortunately, having some mechanical issues with his car that his team's going to have to work on going into Homestead next week.
There's Hogan making the dive to pit road on lap 26. So I believe this is the last of our regularly scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, that's right. And so he was on a different strategy. I think he might have been on those black tires, and then what was he on now? Was he on the reds? It'll be switched now.
Yeah, he just switched the red, so he was on the tail end of the top 10 there. I'm watching Dakota on the front straight move over for Van de Sande there.
So Sanders here, just 3/10 back, going on board with him as they cross the start-finish line. He's just keeping and lurking behind Caleb. I'd have to imagine both these guys' heartbeat is, like a track runner right now.
Well, I'm willing to bet, and maybe if you think about this, maybe Sanders is in a more calm position because he's sitting in second. He's got no one pressuring him from behind. If he makes a small mistake, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen to him? He's, finish second, right?
Yeah.
Right now, Caleb's got to hit every corner, every apex, every braking zone, every shift perfect. Otherwise, he's going to have someone all up and over him.
That's right. I certainly prefer to be the attacker than watching my rear view mirror. But then again, he is in first, so that's a good position to be. That last lap for Sanders was actually 4/10 faster than Caleb up there, but again, he's got that slipstream
All
on this.
over him. All over him. And he might be close enough this time.
He is on push to pass. I'm on board with him, so I can see that. Caleb guards the inside line.
He's gonna take him on the outside. Wow! Side by side, he's got to concede.
He had to
Wow.
concede, and you could see those brake rotors light up into that corner, into the chicane. And I can see, I'm pretty sure that is Forsyth up ahead. Lap traffic.
Yeah, if I'm looking at my relative and I see those guys coming, and even if I'm looking in my mirror and I see them go side by side like that, I'll be like, I want out of the way as fast as possible. I do not want to interfere with 2 leaders going for the lead.
So my push to pass information seems to be accurate, so or at least somewhat accurate. I'm showing Caleb with 7 pushes left. They had 10 from the start of the race. It's basically a 20-second 50 horsepower addition that you get when you press that. Caleb's got 7 and Gavin has 6. There's only 6 laps to go, so basically Gavin has 1 for every lap left to go. I'm gonna go on board with him so I can see when he actually presses it on this straightaway here, as they get ever closer to Craig Forsyth up there. So he did not opt to press it this time. He was a little bit further back.
Yep, not close enough.
So Gavin does have 1 lap fresher tires, if that means anything, here with these black tires.
He's going to use that up just to stay close.
Yep.
Oh, Hogan spins off there into the center curve area.
He had just come out of the pits a couple laps ago, so it might be.
There's Forsyth going to the inside. Good on him.
Yeah, we know Forsyth. I know Forsyth. I've driven 2.5 seasons at the TI League with him, and he's a very gentlemanly driver. Really good driver.
You'd think push to pass 20 seconds is enough. Actually, on some of those straights that the TI League was when they were running at Le Mans last week, or actually earlier this week, you're on the straights longer than 20 seconds, so your push to pass actually runs out at some point on the straightaway before you have to begin the break.
Yeah, I know some of the leaders there were on that first lap at Le Mans were planning to press it 3 or 4 times. As we have Sanders, we'll see if he decides to press it here. He's only got 5 laps left, so I'd be pressing it every straightaway, every one of these particular straightaway, assuming my information is correct that he actually has 6 left. It might not be accurate. I have to assume it's probably not accurate if he's not using it.
More to go.
Yep, and this is the closest battle we have on the track, so I don't really want to cut away from this one.
Some of the movers today: Shire 14 up, McCullen up 12, Stranahan up 10, Lusher up 11, Donchek up 11.
As Sanders really close.
He was pushed. You could hear the tire scrape. He was moving it in there.
Yeah.
He was on the edge of adhesion.
Knife edge of adhesion. That contact patch that these tires have is just really, really small. We were talking about those IRO1, so we have that new car out there today. So those have 18-inch rims. So Formula One cars, currently anyway, they'll have 18-inch rims next year, but they currently have 13-inch rims. So I was like wondering what IndyCar has, because I always, they obviously look different than Formula One in terms of the rim size, and IndyCars use 15-inch rims. So kind of a more normal size for IndyCar, at least compared to those. Like what car other than a Formula One car can you think of that runs 13-inch rims? I can't think of anything.
Oh, Bincy kind of missed the apex on that one, and it allowed Sanders to kind of just crack the door open. He might be in a position where one of those push to passes is going to come into play here.
Alex is working on
fishtail. Sorry.
Alex is getting around West Shear back there. Looks like a battle down the back straightaway there. Let me keep an eye on this one. Alex, I thought had it made. Yeah, if there's certainly a pass for the lead, let me know about that. But I've got a good battle here between Van de Zandt and Scheer. Van de Zandt running that Happy Trails chili mix car, and Scheer running that Homestead coffee car. Goes for a pass, well, looks for it into turn 1. Thinks better of it. McCullen's ahead of them.
Vinci taking a real defensive move, coming down the Casino Straight, taking an inside path on the kink there. So he's taking the shortest path that he possibly can.
And Van de Zandt made his way around Scheer there. We'll be cutting back to the leaders now. 2 laps to go. Probably go on board with Sanders here on that back straightaway because we know that's the push to pass.
Little fishtail there too.
Yeah, they're running pretty fast laps for these tires though. Old tires, and they're running 24s.
Oh, he goes a little high. That gives the door to kind of get in there.
Going on board. And Sanders is actually on push to pass here. So he must have...
He's right there. He's right there.
Up.
He might take a look coming down to the pin. We'll see. Nope, he's not going to have enough room there.
No. It's and
Vinci kind of cooks a little bit.
Cooks it up, yeah, a little bit. Gavin is on push to pass, so I imagine that Caleb's going to guard that low line into that chicane, although looks like he has room.
He took the low line through the kink, so he was defensive there. All right, this is where it's going to count now. He pops that curb. He's trying to stay close.
He's back on push to pass even here. So he must have him saved up. Saving him for the end here. This is the final lap. White flag, folks.
Oh, and that's going to cost him some time.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you still have a lap to go. Lots can happen.
Yeah, great battle here. No, are there any lap cars? No, I don't see any lap cars ahead. So nothing
the nearest car to Vinci is Borg, and that's 5.2 seconds up the road from him. So I don't think, unless that car has an issue, they're going to be going to play a factor in this lap.
Gavin was on push to pass there too, so I might have actually had accurate information here. Not on push to pass here, but I would have hoped he saved one for this straightaway coming up.
Oh, he dives in there really deep into
really
the pit.
Deep. And he is on push to pass. So if it's going to happen, it's got to happen here. We're coming down to it, folks. Caleb's going to guard that inside line, but he actually goes wide. Going to take a normal entry into that chicane. And
This is it. If he doesn't get him here and he makes it through the corner, I do not... Oh, he's going to make it close. He's going to make it close.
He is on push to pass. So that was it.
Oh, wow. That was a lot
really close there.
That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Woo.
Wow. A really close battle. I was not expecting to be that close to this particular track. We have Dylan Blanton coming through in P3. Mark Johnson coming across in P4.
0.183 is your difference there. And that last lap had actually Vinci at 123 and Johnson at a 125. So Vinci was actually cruising right along on that one.
Yeah, we've got Caleb's doing some donuts now.
It's time to make the donuts.
Well, Caleb won the LMCgear.com TI Championship, and I believe he'll be retaking the lead. So actually, he had led every race of the Reddit points. He'd always been the leader, won the championship until last race when he finished fourth. You know, the points reset because of new season, so he'll be back in the lead now. We got Van de Zandt through in fifth. So we'll be right back. We'll get our podium interviews, our interview with the winner coming right up here, guys.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
We are back here. We're still waiting on our podium finishers to come to the waiting room. Really good battle here today. A lot of attrition in this one, though.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining. Most time, not a lot. Most of the times, a lot of times, road courses can be. They get the hey, it's a parade. I don't, it's not much fun, not much passing going on. There's a little bit of everything today, and I think it was an exciting race. And if you stayed to watch the end, I don't think that you will be turning off your stream disappointed, because I think you saw the type of race that you wanted to see, something close and competitive to the very end.
All right, we've got Caleb, so I'm going to pull him up here. Hey, Caleb, this is Matt. Got you up in the booth with Gary here. Congratulations on the victory.
Oh, man, thank you. That was a long, fun race, though.
Yeah, tell us about your race. Gavin certainly was right on your gearbox.
Yeah, that was honestly, it went pretty much exactly how I could have hoped it went. But yeah, I was able to get the lead there and almost threw it away. I had the brake bias set wrong there in the first corner, but was able to just run the pace I wanted to and try to save the tires for later in the run, because it's just this new tire model. It ate up the tires. So try to save a little bit for that last lap or last two laps to try and push a little bit. But I think Gavin did too. So that was pretty close, but glad I could hang on.
Yeah, he saved those push to passes. He was using 2 or 3 a lap at points. I wasn't sure if my information was right, so I went on board with him to see what was happening. He was using that. Tell us about how you made it 17 or 18 laps on those red tires.
Well, it definitely wasn't easy. You just had to start saving right away. Like lap 2, 3, 4. I'm not pushing anywhere near what you could. You could probably see it in the lap times, probably about 2-3 seconds off qualifying pace. So it was just about saving them early, and then towards the end, just trying to hold on and not make any mistakes, because it was definitely asking to spin out. But yeah, just a lot of tire saving involved, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, really good victory. So I was telling Gary right before I brought you up that you had actually led the points every point of this series until the last week. Like, if you think about that, because you won the first race back in
Yeah.
so until a week ago, or this last week, you'll be back in the lead now.
I was gonna say, hopefully,
I think it has to be back in the lead. So
yeah, I think so.
Congratulations on the victory, man. Obviously love the livery, race verse livery, driving those colors, number 1 car. Tell us about that Fawn and Fanny sponsorship on there, and then shout out to anybody else out there.
Obviously want to thank you and Race First and everyone for supporting me, and yeah, of course the car looks great. Fawn and Fanny is Aunt's company from local Northeast Ohio. So I don't know if many of you go around here, but if you're in the area, go check it out. It's got a lot of lotions and self-care items, and you can customize it all, and really, really cool place. But glad to have them on the car as well, and yeah, glad to get a win for you guys and Race First, and for them at Fawn and Fanny. So great day.
Very good. Any thoughts going into Homestead next week? I wouldn't think there's really much, because new tire model, you won't really know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Homestead. I love 1.5 mile tracks in general, though, with IndyCar, but for some reason, Homestead just can't quite figure it out. So maybe this tire model will help a little bit, but definitely got to do a little bit of testing here next week to see if we can figure something out. But looking forward to it, though.
Sounds good.
See how Homestead will be a little bit different, considering pretty much all the 1.5 mile tracks are that quad oval type design, and this is really a true paperclip type oval. Yeah, I could see how it would be a little bit different for someone that may be more used to quads.
Yeah, no, I love the layout and everything. I love the progressive.
I do too,
and
yeah.
everything. I think it's a really, really awesome track. It's just one track I really haven't quite figured out yet. So hope to do that in the next week.
Good luck.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations once again there, Caleb, on the victory, and we'll see you in a week.
Good. Thank you, guys. Thanks for broadcasting.
Yep, thanks.
Congrats.
All right, we'll bring up our P2. Hey, Gavin, this is Matt up here in the booth with Gary. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Tell us about your race. Really, I think you led like one lap because of through the pit strategy. You tried to do the overcut on Caleb there. Somehow, you made your fuel work though. Did you do a little fuel saving to make that happen?
I definitely saved a bit in through the first stint. Just trying to maintain the reds. The reds were a really, really hard challenge to kind of preserve throughout that first stint. So it gave me a bit of an opportunity to save while I was going down the stretch there, just trying to catch up and maintain track position.
Sounds good. Well, I knew you were going to be fast, so I was telling Gary, and I've told some other people going back, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, we ran that Homestead Roval race. Did you win that one, or was somebody else win that one? I just knew you were fast there.
I believe I came second or something.
Okay.
I messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, but me and Caleb and Dakota, we were all running in that one. So we saw, hey, this Gavin guy, he's fast. So we're going to have to watch out for him. So you certainly proved that today.
Thank you.
I saw that you saved a bunch of your push to passes there for the end, and we're using a lot of them.
Yeah, I honestly just through a lot of the iRacing I end up doing, I don't end up having the push to passes, so I tend to kind of strategize around not using them. And then by the end of the race, I had like 6 left with 2 laps to go. So every straightaway, I was just mashing the button. But yeah, it's just kind of a normal thing. It also helps me, I think, kind of preserve a bit more fuel. So definitely worked out there, I would say.
Yeah, tell us about how your preparation was for this race. Were you able to practice today once this came out at like about noon Eastern today?
I did a few laps for sure, but being from Canada, this track comes inherent pretty much.
Okay.
So even with the new tires and everything, it seemed, it's same old, same old. So with the new setup and all that stuff, I managed to get accustomed within the 1 hour before the race.
Very good. Well, congratulations. Anybody watching, any sponsors you might have that you want to shout out?
They're not watching, I know that, but in real life, I'm sponsored by Fat Bastard Burrito Company. So just shout out to them for sponsoring me in the Nissan Micro Cup, and yeah.
Samples. If you can ship them out here down south, we would be happy to test those. Yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
Rubbermaid containers coming your way.
Well, congratulations on that second place podium here. I know you had a little bit of bad luck last week. Any thoughts going into Homestead?
I'd say my oval racing is definitely a bit of my weakness. So it definitely need to kind of sharpen up and just kind of get better at pack racing. But hopefully that track always provides good racing. So hopefully a bit better luck there. No more net code.
Yeah, we'll have to just see what the tire fall off's going to be. There used to not be much tire fall off if it's a night race, but with the new tire model, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, you never know.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
Thanks. All right, I'll pull up Dylan here. So, hey, Dylan, this is Matt up in the booth with Gary. How you doing?
Good. Tired after that little race.
Well, tell us about that race. You started 10th and finished 3rd, so that's a pretty big move there for you.
Yeah, I was a little interested. I didn't qualify exactly where I want. I kept messing up laps. I probably had got 3 or 4 more up the grid, but I dealt with the hand I had. Overall, I had a pretty clean race. I had 1 self-spin when I was able to keep it off the walls, thankfully, and I think the 3rd chicane on the back. And after that, I was kind of just driving out the reds. They really started to kill me on the in and out in the really slow corners in 2 and 5, I think. it was really trying to come around on me. So once I got on blacks, I was pretty safe. I felt like I was definitely better on the blacks.
Well, going back to qualifying, you're qualifying basically with 29 other cars out there. That certainly had to been a thing. I mean, in IndyCar they would have split it up into what 12 or 15 and 15, and then yeah.
And your Fast 9 and that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, tell us any. Today that patch came out about 12 o'clock, that new tire model. Were you able to get a lot of practice in, or was this pretty blind for you?
Yeah, I did a little practice early in the week, and I probably had 30 minutes to an hour in addition to this session this evening. I like it much better for me. It was really killing me on the exit before the patch, and I was much better with I guess a little more slip it gave me.
Very good. Well, congratulations. I don't recall where you finished last week. Do you recall that?
The 20s, I got taken out by
okay.
a guy still spinning on the apron.
Yeah.
You were a fortunate victim then. So, any thoughts going into Homestead next week? New tire model though, so I guess people don't really have that much thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just see how it goes. It's, a big oval. I don't know how it's going to race. If it'll be more like the fixed a couple weeks ago or more packed up, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Indeed. Anybody watching out there you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors, anything like that?
I don't think so. This is only week 2 for me, so maybe I'll get some people later this week.
Well, if you keep finishing on the podium, that's probably going to happen.
That's the goal.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations on that podium, first podium here in the Schaeffer's Cup, and we'll see you next week at Homestead.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Congrats.
Thanks. All right. Well, let's do a run through. This is going to take a little while, isn't it, Gary? If we do a run through the results, and then we'll lead us out.
All right.
Let me get my overlay working about all of this.
I might have to rely on you, because when I hit the view results button and on iRacing for something, that says, "Oops, something went wrong." So we know who finished first, second, and third. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I'll just go through it. So
Yeah,
Caleb Bensey in P1 taking that victory. Led all those laps at Michigan. Didn't quite work out then, but today it certainly did. He's hot on his tail though. Gavin Sanders we're gonna have to watch out for him the rest of the season, I think. Dylan Blanton in P3, Mark Johnson P4, Alex Van de Zandt. He had a couple extra pit stops, it seemed like, than everybody else, but he came through and finished 5th. Wes Shear in 6th, Nicholas Isidro in 7th, Elliot Borg in P8, Cole Stranahan P9, Mike McCullen getting his, that might be his first top 10 in the series here tonight. But Michael Berry in P11, Craig Forsyth coming back from... pretty sure he spent some time in pit lane getting some repairs. P12, Nathaniel Johnson, Neil Lusher, Peter Donchak, and moving on to the 16th to final positions here. Garrison Hogan in P16, John Fries, our fifth place car from last week, and 17th, Dakota DeMade. Tough luck for him tonight. I know he wanted a good start here and good finish, but did not work out in that Voltic pistol car. Drew White in the 19th, Adam Nash in 20th, Christopher Albee, also disappointing finish for him. Shane Coogan, we kind of missed that one, Gary. Another disappointing finish for him this season. Hayden Herman and I'm actually a little bit messed up on my results here, but saying P21, Eric Hodel, Will Zeller, fast guy from last season, won a couple races, Mid-Ohio, trying to think of maybe Road America. But out here at Montreal, Connor Baldwin, P26, Ryan Lewis, John De Matteo, Julian Altena, P29, not happy with that one after starting second place. So that's our results for the night. Congratulations to Caleb Bensey on the victory here.
Yeah, we'll see how the points shake out. He'll be back up near the top again, and we move on to the oval, which sounds like everyone has a little testing in their future that they need to be taking part of. and we'll see how it goes next week. But for those that maybe had 2 bad finishes in a row that are we know that they're a lot better than their finish. Take 1 week after another. Right now, you took 2 lumps. There's still many to go. The idea is just to keep finishing races and keep getting back off the mat and keep trying and trying and trying. That's all you can do.
That's right. Well, for Race First, I'm Matt Houston, joined by Gary Gatso here, and we'll take you out for tonight.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We'll see you next week at Homestead.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.